Hi, I'm Kirsty Johnstone. I'm Head of Performing Arts at Inner City School in South Bristol. And my topic is how to teach music when you're a drama specialist. So I've been head of faculty for 3 years, head of performing arts, and it's been quite a steep learning curve, getting my head round music as well as drama. There are just 2 of us in our faculty. However, we have a team of non-specialists. So my experience with this is I'm a drama specialist, but I teach music as well. I've taught a plethora of different subjects throughout my teaching career, and I'm also managing a lot of non-specialists who are teaching both music and drama. So my first tip would be, just move myself over here, my first tip would be to adopt a can-do mindset. So you are the most knowledgeable person in the room in that lesson, in that moment. Okay, so you know what is happening in that lesson and where that lesson is going, and you're the teacher, so helping you to remember that should give you the confidence. Don't fixate on the subject that you're teaching. If you're worrying, thinking, oh my goodness, I've got to teach music and I don't know any music, then the kids will see through that, and that's where you will fall down. You're there to teach. It doesn't matter what you're teaching, you are the teacher. You've got the qualification, you've gone away, you've done the qualification, you've learned how to teach and everything. So it's the tricks of the trade of teaching that you've got. That's what makes you able to teach in that situation. So don't get too hung up on the subject. Look at the core knowledge before you go in. So what are you going to be teaching? This is useful. This is from personal experience of getting into a lesson and going, oh, but what am I teaching? So try and have a look at least the morning before. I would the day or a couple of days before, look at what you're going to be teaching. It's good to always know what you're teaching, where they've come from and where they're going. That's good curriculum teaching practice with curriculum anyway. So where does that lesson that you're teaching fit into the grand scheme of things? And that also helps you to be confident that you know how to teach that music lesson in that moment. See it as an extra piece of CPD. There's so many links with drama, particularly with the vocal work and singing. So use that and use some of the rhythms and drums. I've had my class before, we've been doing creating rhythms, and it sounded really, really good. So I recorded it and we've actually used it in their drama lessons. So use it as a creative base. And your drama teachers, use those skills of acting. Think that you are a music teacher. They say that positive thought anyway helps you. So if you go in, even say to yourself, I am a music teacher, walk into the room, but act confident and turn it on. So this is my top tips. So be at least a lesson ahead. So think about the curriculum. Where are we going? Where are they coming from? Okay, where does your lesson fit? That helps you understand what you're doing and what you're teaching. This was one of the best pieces of advice. This was a science teacher actually gave to me this was towards the end of my NQT year. They said, if you need to do a poster lesson, do it. Don't do it every lesson, but if you do need a catch-up lesson to take stock, particularly in your NQT year and your second year, use it productively. So do it as a consolidation lesson, but you may need to take stock of where you're going, where you're going, what's happening, so that you can just have a little bit of breathing space to be able to tackle the next steps that you need to do in teaching. If in doubt, speak to the head of faculty or music specialist. So in my school, our music specialist and head of faculty is different people. because I'm the drama specialist, I'm the head of faculty, but speak to either, if you're having any problems, any issues, any worries, do go and speak to one of them. Speak to somebody. You will need to speak to somebody and say, don't bottle it up if you are having problems. And this is one of the biggest pieces of advice: get to know your class. So I play the flute, and we were doing some rhythm drum bass lessons, and I had this lad in my class who's an absolutely phenomenal drummer, really, really good. So I would get him to teach the rhythms. I would do the breaking down bits, but he would do the demonstrations. I quite often demonstrated what not to do. Find out what they play, chat to them about it, see if they're working towards any grades. Are any doing grades in theory? They will be a really big help. Give them a job and give them a bit of responsibility. Have a word with them and say. So I just used to say to my pupils that, oh, so, you know, I play the flute, however, you're amazing at this. Would you be able to help out next lesson and do X, Y, and Z? This is where you need to know what's going to be happening next lesson. So you need to be able, you need to get a little bit of planning in. Okay. And we've got some notes on the stave there. These are the basic notes. And this is my #1 top tip coming up, is knowing where middle C is on the keyboard. So it's this one, just here. Okay. That help you not just in music, it help you in drama for pressing, getting the kids to sing in tune. But knowing where middle C is and the musical alphabet. I was really, really rusty on the keyboard when I first, or piano, when I first started teaching at the beginning of the year. I haven't played musical instruments since I was in year 9. And so getting back into it was amazing, but it was worrying. So middle C, you'll see you've got a pattern of the black keys. So it goes 2, 3, 2, 3. And the C is always to the left of the 2 black keys. So that helps you out. Another tip, whiteboard pen. Get your whiteboard pen and write the keys on, because you can wipe them straight off. Okay. Some people are probably frown on that a bit, but yeah, write them on and you can wipe them straight off, and you're not faffing around with bits of paper. Some reading that we have, I'm just going to float myself over to here, over this samba whistle. So my top tip is samba whistle. Let's start there. You may be teaching samba, get your own samba whistle. Kids are minging and you don't want their germs, and also you don't know if there is a rogue samba whistle on the desk, who knows who's touched it. So get your own samba whistle. It's also really, really good having a samba whistle for getting the kids to be quiet. That leads me into my other piece of advice, is get a Tibetan singing bowl or something that you can get the kids, you can stop the class and get the kids attention. So I use a singing bowl, and we had someone come in and do it in a drama workshop, and I thought it was amazing. And I had vocal nodules in my NQT year from being just sort of generally loud. I could get my voice over the kids' loudness, just all the time took its toll. So with the Tibetan singing bowl, you just ding it, swirl it around on the outside, and the sound keeps going. It has a lovely calming effect on the pupils, and my pupils really, really love it. They're quite a rowdy bunch, but they love it when we get the singing bowl going, and it does just create this nice calm, and they're all quite attentive and ready to listen. I also use things like hands in the air. But with your hands in the air, you have to make sure you give yourself that time to wait for them to be quiet. And you can do clapping and them clapping back to you, clap a rhythm at them, at them and they clap back to you, a call and response, and it works really, really well. Anything to save the voice. There's 3 books here. The one I would really, really recommend, there's 2 actually I would really recommend, is Music Theory for Young Musicians. That gives you the basic notes, the rhythms and the names of the notes for your tea, coffee, tea, stew, that we used to do at primary school. The kids will have done that Key Stage 2. So I remember doing that at primary school. The kids did. They might think it's babyish, but it's building on what they did at Key Stage 2, particularly if you've got them in year 7, just build on it. So the Music Theory for Young Musicians is really good. It gives you confidence and you can flick through it really quickly. What we need as teachers is things we can flick through super quick. We haven't got the time to be sat really wading our way through a really long book. I also found the How to Play Ukulele, a Complete Beginner's Guide, really, really useful, particularly when I was planning the curriculum last year, which was music and drama together, and I did a unit and on the ukulele and started the planning for that, and then passed it to the music teacher, and that was really, really helpful for teaching it. I learnt alongside the children. Had again found the one who was really good at the ukulele, and they were my helper, and they would go around and do some support, because getting them to teach helps them with their understanding, and they had their own ukulele, so they would go home, do a bit of extra practice, and then come in and show us and then be the support in the lesson. So they were getting some stretch and challenge. So very quickly, my top tips. I am in the middle of a stave, so you are the one with the knowledge of the lesson. So you are the most knowledgeable person in that moment of what is happening in that lesson. Know your class, know the kids in there. We're drama teachers. We're good at getting to know the children that we teach. So get to know them and find out what they play and what level. Brush up on your basic theory. It only needs to be basic. Save your voice. And children are minging, get your own samba whistle. Okay. Hope you find this really, really helpful and useful. I've really enjoyed putting this together and thinking about how to teach music as a non-specialist and what I did and what I'm going to be passing on to my team. So any questions, please do ask me some questions. I will be on Twitter, and hopefully you'll have found this useful, and good luck in your future years in teaching.